All right. Hey, all you cats and chicks out there, that was Drew and the Blue with Chicken Stew here on Hot Roddin' tonight. And friends, I do have those cats online right now. Drew and the Blue calling in about their big EP that was just released over there on Bandcamp. They're also the featured artist this week at Mixabilly.com. Drew and the Blue. Drew, go ahead and introduce yourself and let your bandmates say hi too. How are you cats doing today?
Yo, Sheepdog, this is Drew. Hey man, we're doing really well over here. I'm here with our guitar player, Taylor.
Hello.
And tonight we are down Mandy. She could not make it out tonight, unfortunately, extenuating circumstances. But she sends her regards, and we're with her in spirit right now. But yeah, man, all is well.
Yeah, that's totally cool. 2 makes Drew and the Blue, but 3 makes it awesome. But that's all right. That's all right. We'll forgive her this time, you know? Hey, now, I was reading a little bit about this EP that you guys had just dropped, and it is totally rock and roll. I like to call it, I kind of compare it to like a garage rockabilly, definitely a freestyle. But I'd also read that you actually recorded this whole EP there in your parents' basement. Is that correct?
Yeah, man, it's a humble beginning.
Hey, yeah, that's do it yourself rock and roll, brother.
Yeah, well, just over the years, myself and Taylor and Mandy too, we all sort of collected, recording equipment just as and microphones and all that stuff. And the majority of the equipment I had already accrued, by this time, and was able to do it. And so we recorded it in my parents' basement. Not the best of setups, but it got the job done. And then our good friend Kevin Stratton, he mixed it up for us and made it sound like not a basement,
It definitely does sound awesome. I mean, I spun a track off of there a few weeks ago. I think that's actually how you found out we even existed over here at Mixabilly.com. I spun the track 98 Cadillac, doing a few sets about cars there and stuff. But like I said, every song on here definitely does have a professional quality to it. It's really a joy to listen to and just party out to, because it is kind of a party type music.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks, man. It's funny. 98 Cadillac, very much. I'm sure you can hear has that old school car influence, and that is based on a true story. My dad actually does have a 98 Cadillac, and sometimes I do take it out, and it's funny, man. But that song is definitely influenced on the late great Chuck Berry, and yeah, we just want to write tunes, just rock and roll party tunes. The same thing Wanda Jackson kind of did, the same thing Chuck Berry, all those old guys, Ray Charles. I mean, we all have a range of influences. Same thing Taylor. Everybody kind of brings something to the table.
Well, that's back when rock and roll was just fun. My big thing here is no politics, no bullshit. Let's just rock and roll and have a party.
Yeah, you said it best. Exactly.
But now, when did you guys get together and come together and say, this is the type of music we're doing? This is how it's going to be for Drew and the Blue. We don't want to go play pop music or anything overly electronic. We just want to do real, raw, fun rock and roll.
Well, actually, Taylor and I sort of got together. This was I don't know what year was that? Maybe
I think early 2017.
Yeah, it was like early 2017, and he and I were just kind of getting together and screwing around with some ideas and tunes, nothing serious, and just got the crazy idea, like, hey man, let's learn a couple old tunes and just play an open mic just for fun and see where it goes. So at that time, it was just a duo. It was drums, vocals from me, and then Taylor on guitar, and we were playing mostly the blues, like the old school stuff, like John Lee Hooker, Lightning Hopkins, Howlin' Wolf, and all those guys, and a range of stuff, even some Beatles blues. But we started playing that, and then we just kind of, I don't know, we learned 1 or 2 Chuck Berry tunes, Fats Domino. Playing that live and getting to experience that, like, firsthand, playing what those guys played and doing that style and seeing a crowd react to it and how I'm reacting to it was special to me. And that's the only kind of music that gets you dancing in that kind of way. And it's like you said, I mean, it's kind of a rock and roll party, and so I guess it sort of happened like sometime in maybe late 2017 or 2018, we decided, let's just play this old school rock and roll kind of thing.
So you guys were both there doing the two-man thing, and how did you bring on the third person?
I continuously begged until he finally gave in.
Yeah, that's literally the answer. I started, when we did the duo thing, it was cool because, Taylor and I have been playing together since, 5th grade, since we're however old. I don't know, you're 10 years old, 11 years old. So we've been playing together, or roughly around there. And it was easy because we had a connection musically, and I was like, well, I don't want to complicate it. But at the end of the day, just having that third person, having that low, and it frees him up on guitar to go, and really rip and do some things that otherwise you couldn't get away with. So I went to college with Mandy, our bass player, Mandy Mawson, and we were in the jazz band together. So we're playing the old school, like way back, at Count Basie and Tommy Dorsey, and we're playing that stuff together. And she actually, she can play an upright bass like nothing, man. She plays it, real well. And we have her on electric bass in this band, but Mandy and I got to know each other through college, and I just hit her up, and fresh out of school, and we were the first together. I think we got lucky because I'm sure she would have got picked up by somebody if it wasn't us.
Now you got to hold on to her. She's out today. We don't know where she is.
I know. Better not be with another band.
Better not be with another band. Darn it! I'm telling you. So
she's great, and the trio works really well. It's a good dynamic now. So Taylor was right.
So a question for both of you: what were some of the big musical influences that you guys had just through different periods? Growing up, and maybe what you brought together in this little EP.
Well, yeah, I'll start out, I guess. It just for me with the guitar, it's probably no surprise, but it all started with Van Halen. That's really where it all launched for me. I think it was at the reunion tour in 2004 was when I first saw them, and man, just being in the arena and the lights going down and hearing that guitar rip through, that was an instant moment where everything changed for me. So for me, it all goes back to that, and that's my main influence and my roots. But beyond that, I like just about everything else. If it's good to me, it's I'll listen to it and stuff. So there was always the heavy blues influence, of course, and I was always in the jazz band with Drew and stuff, and always like that. We certainly had a hard rock and metal phase early on too, so there's some of that. Really just a fan of a lot of different things beyond that then.
Not to interrupt, I just want to know, is Van Halen, is it better with David Lee Roth or with Sammy Hagar? Which Van Halen do you like?
This is dangerous territory here. Honestly, for me, I just anything the Van Halen brothers touch, I like. It really is. I like both eras. Maybe I'm more partial to the David Lee Roth era, but if it has Van Halen on it, it's good by me.
I just had to ask.
For me, my first influence, for me to play the drums and get super into it was Metallica, which I think is probably a lot of young drummers, especially young musicians, when you're in whatever grade you're in. I remember being in, I guess it was 6th grade, and I first learned of Metallica, and I heard Master of Puppets, and I was like, holy shit, what is this? And so many young drummers look up to Lars Ulrich, and that's kind of what happened to me. I just dove into that 80s, whatever you want to call it, metal, era, and it started there. Honestly, it's funny how it started with, there. And my parents always, had me, when I was growing up, they played the 70s stuff, Zeppelin and AC/DC and that kind of thing, Hendrix and Janis Joplin. But growing up, it was metal, and then, I don't know, I sort of dialed it back as I got older to different genres, whether it was rock and roll or if it was blues rock, and somehow wound up here and found the most joy, I should say, right here.
That's what most bands I talk to say. They're like, somehow we ended up here. A lot of them.
Yeah, it's a wild thing.
A lot of them have stories about being drunk first, but they all ended up here somehow. We were drunk and we thought this would be a good idea.
And so, hey, sometimes you get lucky.
But you definitely see a lot of the metal influence, especially out of some of the newer bands, the psychobilly, definitely the psychobilly that I'll play, the psychobilly or punkabilly that I'll play. You'll even see covers of Enter Sandman. So it's not too far off, you know. I have a crazy cover, Enter Sandman by the Cold Blue Rebels. So
man, that's an interesting take, I'm sure.
Yeah, I do a big cover show once a year. That's not just the regular covers. Like, you can assume you're going to get Eddie Cochran covers or Elvis Presley covers, but you never know that the blood-sucking zombies from outer space are going to do Material Girl by Madonna.
It seems only fitting in that punkabilly, whatever the hell you want to call it, kind of thing.
Right, exactly. It's definitely crazy, and we enjoy having you on the crazy sort of playlist here with us, you know. And are you guys?
Well, thank you, man.
Are you guys just playing like locally right there in Pennsylvania, or have you traveled out to a couple other states?
We got a little bit out of Pennsylvania. I mean, we've been together as Drew and the Blues since April 6th of 2018, so it hasn't quite been a full year for us. So basically, we're from Reading, PA, and we've been playing all over Reading, PA, into Lancaster, just east of us, and we've slowly been expanding. We're playing a couple venues in New Jersey. We get here and there some spots. Right now, we're just trying to expand as much as possible. Look towards July to do just a small East Coast tour, kind of the Philly, Boston area is what we're looking to do. But man, I mean, we're trying to do as much as we can. We'd love to get all over the nation and, you know, Europe, everything. We want to go everywhere for sure.
Well, right now you are all over the world. I got a big listener base over in Europe. A lot of folks listening to us over there in the UK, rocking out in Germany. Definitely. Also have a few listeners coming in from Japan here and there. And lately, a lot of the French bonjour have been tuning in to the live stream, and also to our show Hot Run Tonight, which is where we're featuring this interview at Mixabilly.com with Drew and the Blue, available on Bandcamp if I haven't mentioned it yet. I think I said it a couple times. So you guys basically met during school. Is that correct? Your school days?
Yeah, I guess I think technically we were in first grade together, and then we kind of just rekindled in fifth grade and had a class together. And I think it was there we really kind of like started hanging out more and stuff.
Yeah.
And all the music stuff came along. So, yep.
Well, that is pretty amazing.
It was way back.
Yeah, that's further back than I would have thought. You know, I mean, that's just amazing that you guys had known each other so long, and then both of your musical aspirations, you know, kind of floated along the same line.
I don't know. I wouldn't. If you asked me 2 years ago what I'd be doing, I don't think this would have been the answer, or 3 years ago maybe. But and even in high school, I mean, we'd always jammed and we'd always played harder rock stuff or metal or whatever we were into. But just, you know, you go away and you go to college or you move away and we hadn't done anything together. Taylor and I had a band in 2010, and when that disbanded, you know, our singer went to the Navy, and we sort of just went our separate ways. You know, if you'd asked me then, I would have never thought, 2019, here we are with a pretty serious group, touring, you know, playing as much as we can and trying to get our names out there and talking to the man, getting us all the way over to Japan and Europe and all that business. So it's wild, man.
Well, I can tell you one thing. It's a lot better than other jobs where you say, would you like fries with that?
Yeah, I don't have to ask that question. Neither of us do. So it's been a good ride. I'll say that.
You know, because that could have been the other career path, and some people make that, you know, because they just don't want to put being in a band. Maybe you should let the listeners know. I mean, it's a lot of work and a lot of dedication, and you're going to go with definitely times where you are asking the parents for a little bit of cash because you're trying to get this thing together, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say unashamed. I have, man, what you just said exactly happens. I've had to borrow money from the parents. That's happened in the past already, and it's no joke. I mean, we also do, you know, like we have day jobs. At least a couple of us do, and for the most part, though, just keeping the band together isn't as much about like having a side gig, but it's all about, I mean, you know, can we get along? Can we meet somewhere in the middle? Can we keep this going and you know, make this, you know, a real job, make this a full-time gig, which is really what we're working on now. And I'd say getting along is not hard for us, but that's the most important part to me. Just within your own band, trying to keep everybody with a good morale, so to speak.
Understood. Now, when it comes to songwriting, how do you guys work that as a collaborative thing together, or do you guys one person writes the lyrics, other person in the music? Explain a little bit about your songwriting techniques.
Yeah, really, it's with me and Drew being in bands, for many years and doing this a couple times, I'd really say that the whole thing is there really is no set formula of any kind. It just happens for this particular thing. I mean, he pretty much writes all the lyrics. That's all him. And he kind of, has the vision for this whole thing and kind of sees it all through. But really, there's no formula at the end of the day, too. I mean, I'll just come in and I'll have some guitar riffs, throw them at him, and they turn into songs, and other times he might have a vision and maybe some lyrics in mind and, says, let's throw something together, and that's basically how it goes. So it's a little bit of a set thing, but at the same time, there's really no formula.
All right, man. Moving right along here with Drew and the Blue. New EP is called Surfin' on a Surfboard. Surfin' on a Surfboard. You see, I paused. I was reading it off my screen, and I'm like, got to make sure I get that right.
It's quite a title.
Yeah, Surfin' on a Surfboard.
I wanted to have the most on-the-nose title I could think of, and that's what came out.
It's a 6-track EP. It's available on Bandcamp for only $5, correct?
Correct.
And today we're getting to listen to a couple tracks. We heard Chicken Stew coming in here, and we're going to leave today on the song "I'm Broke." Speaking of keeping a band together, and sometimes not having 2 cents to rub together. Now, was that a real life song right there? Did that come from hard times?
That is based on the truth, man. That song was written. That was one of our first tunes, at least. I think that was the first one where it was real, man. It was like I didn't really have a day job. I was teaching drum lessons and just writing music. I graduated school, and I was just in that in-between phase where I'm like, man, I don't really have any money. I'm stuck at home, and I'm broke was like a very real feeling, and that song just kind of, it got written really quickly. Let's just say it like that.
That's crazy, man. And that's the song that we're wrapping it up with today. Hey, do you guys have any shout-outs, howl-outs that you'd like to give to anybody here on the big Hot Roddin' tonight before I let you go?
Big shout-out to Mandy Moss and our bass player, Hope Paul, as well. She's all right. She can be with us tonight. And just to everybody around the world, thank you so much for the love and support. We love you, and can't wait to meet you one day.
Yep, thank you.
All right, here they are. Drew and the Blue, I'm Broke, of that new CD, Surfin' on a Surfboard on Hot Roddin' tonight.
I got no hope. I'm broke. I'm like a red light mom. I'm broke. I'm like a lonely child. I'm broke. I'm like a red light mom. I'm broke. Yes, I'm like a lonely child. I'm broke. I'm broke. Can't even afford to croak. I got no hope. I'm broke. I'm like a red light mom. I'm broke. I'm like a lonely child. I'm broke. I'm like a red light mom. I'm broke. Yes, I'm like a lonely child. I'm broke. I'm broke. I can't even afford a rope.